Welcome to Craiova, Mr. Váradi.
Thank you very much.
I understand that you've been touring through the airports of Romania. First of all, you went to Moldavia, now Craiova. What's the goal? What do you want to see?
Yeah, so basically today and tomorrow we are visiting each of our bases, meeting each of our airport managements and meeting the media like you. So we started today in Iași, went to Bacău, and now we are here in Craiova. From here we'll fly to Bucharest, from there to Cluj. Tomorrow we'll be in Sibiu and finish the Romanian tour, if you wish, in Timișoara. And this is very important for us because this is the way we are engaging with our own people. We try to spend time with our people to try to understand how they see life, what issues they have, what opportunities they see, and reflect on that. This is an organizational culture which we are very proud of, and we have been embracing. That's why I'm investing my own personal time to come and meet my people here, and I do it in other countries as well. So just very recently, we've been to Poland, we've been to Ukraine, and we do it in other countries as well. Also, it is very important that we understand the views of the external world on us, what suggestions they may have. It's great to meet you, the media, obviously. You know, based on your questions, we understand what the public interest is, and it's also great to see our airports and the managements of our airports to understand how they see life, what issues they have, what proposals or recommendations they would have to us. So I find this process very important and very engaging and very motivating to myself personally as well. I mean, this is really the way how we are interacting. It's a very direct dialogue in the company. This is the opportunity for me to meet my people and understand them, and it's also an opportunity for them to ask any questions or raise any concerns they may have in front of senior management.
And in Craiova, how many people have you engaged?
Well, here we have around 70, 75 people altogether, and obviously some of them are flying, some of them are here. I mean, just met them, we probably have around 35, 40 people, so half the people are here and half of them are flying.
How do you find people in Craiova, the one you talk to?
I find them very good, very engaging, very interested in the business. They are very interested in growing the market in Craiova. I think they are very proud of themselves, the job, what they do, and working for the company. So we have a very good, very engaged, highly motivated workforce here in Craiova, and they feel a lot of responsibilities for the communities they are in, and they are pushing the company that, you know, can you do more? Can we have more aircraft? So we are just getting the second aircraft to Craiova next week, and obviously we would have a lot of interest to follow that through and bring more capacity, more new routes, an extended network in the future. So we have very smart people here. It is interesting to note, actually, that if I look at the company's management today, we are seeing a lot of Romanians rising in the company, in the hierarchy. A significant portion of them comes from cabin crew. They started their career as cabin crew, and very nicely they have made up their careers in the company, and now you know, some of them are in senior management in the company, running lines of businesses, changed course from cabin crew to commercial or operational roles, and they are doing very well. So I think we are very privileged in Romania with very smart people working for the company, very committed, hardworking, very engaged, and they are clearly our source of future management in the future.
But besides meeting with these people, do you want to explain or emphasize some plans you might have for Romania? Absolutely. Or for Romanian airports?
Absolutely. Romania is one of our success stories in the company. Romania has done very well during the pandemic. It's been one of the most resilient markets for WizzAir. Of course, we have the hiccups and we had, you know, the ups and downs in the system during the years. But overall, Romania was one of the strongest countries, clearly outperforming Western Europe, for example. And as a result, it's not only that we are reinstating capacity at 2019 level, but actually we are ahead of the game and we are growing in Romania. So this summer we're going to be operating a fleet of 29 aircraft, Pre-pandemic, we had 26 aircraft, so we are bringing significant growth to the market. So we are very active in recruitment. We are hiring people, creating local jobs, creating local activities. I think we are also contributing to the local economies, especially in regional airports like Craiova, but also in other regions. So we are becoming quite a coherent part of the ecosystem in the country. As we speak, WizzAir is 43% of the airline industry in Romania. So we have been clearly the engine of Romanian aviation, and we will continue to be the engine going forward as we continue to bring new capacity, creating new jobs, extending our network in the country.
You were saying that the Romanian airports proved themselves resilient during the pandemic. Why do you think, compared to the western part of Europe?
I mean, it all boils down to the consumer, to be honest, and I think on the other side, it boils down to the value proposition what we have been able to bring to the market. You have a consumer base that have seen a lot in life. So yes, I mean, crisis situations happen, but I think given the experience of people, probably they are less afraid of these events, or they overcome these events much quicker than some of the other people, especially in Western Europe, who are quite used to good life, good quality life, not really interacted and affected by big shocking events in the outside world. I think Romania, given your history and development, you have been a lot more volatile, but as a result, you have been dealing with lots of issues, so you are much more resilient dealing with these matters. And I also think we are, as WizzAir, we are also a contributing factor to it, that we continue to bring low fares to the market. We continue to create a very efficient, low-cost infrastructure for people to travel, and that's much appreciated in the country.
So you think that the Eastern European is more resilient and could cope much better when faced with problems, with a crisis situation?
Absolutely. I mean, we know our history. Yeah. I mean, what we went through since the Second World War. I mean, we have been affected a lot by various issues, and as a result, the good news of it, or the good part of it, is that we have become more resilient.
Coming back to Craiova, it's been a long time since WizzAir has been operating here. What do you think of Craiova? Are you satisfied with the activity? Is there something that could be improved?
No, we are absolutely happy with what we are seeing here in Craiova. I mean, if you really think about Romania overall, so we have 29 aircraft, as said, in the country, and only 12 of those aircraft are based in Bucharest. So 17 aircraft in the country are based outside the capital city in the regions. So Romania is a very strong regional market for us. Craiova is doing very well, and Cluj, you go to Bacău or Iași or Sibiu. So we've seen a lot of regional market development, and to be honest, I think this is kind of the way how aviation is going to develop in the country. It is the rise of regional airports. People don't want to connect. They don't want to travel too much. They want to take the closest convenient airport and fly point to point wherever they want to go. So we are highly motivated by the demand of the market to put up the relevant and right network for those people to fly. So we are much engaged with our airport partners, but also with our customers, trying to understand their travel preferences, where they want to go, and to make sure that the network keeps evolving on that basis, and we are launching routes that are in need of the market. And with that regard, Craiova has done well. I mean, the best sign of that is that we are doubling capacity in Craiova. We are bringing another aircraft to Craiova in a week from now, and we keep looking at opportunities for the future to continue to expand our activities here in Craiova.
You know that people always expect new routes. Yeah, you've just announced that 3 favorite routes of people in Craiova, and I think everywhere else, Barcelona, Brussels, and Paris, will be back and are back. Do you have any plans in the near future, this year or maybe next year, for new routes with departure from Craiova?
This is the business we are in, to be honest. We are an airline that continues to launch new routes. Just over the last 2 years during the pandemic, on a total company basis, we launched over 400 new routes of the total of 1,100 what we have today. So every third route of WizzAir is new, launched in the last 2 years, and we'll continue to do that in the future. So I really don't want to speculate, but we would be very encouraged to look at other route opportunities in the West. But we are also seeing a lot of travel demand going east. We opened an airline in Abu Dhabi, for example. We are seeing a lot of demand going to the Middle East, going to the Gulf region, and now as we have an airline there, and we also have an airline in Europe, we will see increasingly how to best connect those markets. So yes, I think our focus for the network will continue to be on Western Europe, but also we will be looking at increasingly Eastern destination opportunities, especially in the United Arab Emirates.
You know that here in Craiova we have a car manufacturer, Ford company, and they've been asking the local authorities to build roads and infrastructure, generally speaking. I'm curious, what would you expect from the local authorities to do with the airport, with the infrastructure adjacent, for you to expand activity in Craiova? What would determine WizzAir to invest more in Craiova?
If you kind of look at the world of regional airports tend to become kind of the engine of economic developments in the region. And as the airport develops, airlines develop in the airport, that kind of creates a halo effect, and you kind of see that flowing through into other infrastructure developments like road, like other facilitating infrastructure, and that kind of creates a knock-on effect, and it continues to create more economic activities in the region. So I think if I was the authority, I would really look at what it takes to make the airport increasingly attractive to airlines. And as far as we are concerned, we think we have a pretty good infrastructure here. We need capacity to operate. So we need sufficient ramp, we need sufficient terminal capacity, and we need it at a very low cost, because we are a low-cost airline, and we know that if our cost of operation is low, then we can pass those savings over to the consumers, to the market, take down the fares, and with lower fares we can stimulate more markets, so we can create more growth going forward. So this is the cycle we are in. So my advice would be that airports should be well invested, but smartly invested, not to explode costs. Actually, every investment should be lowering cost of operations of the airport, and with that, I think we would be encouraged to do more, to operate more, to invest more in the market. And I think the rest of it would come with it, because you can also rely on the market. Lots of private enterprises, private investors would take advantage of the development of airport infrastructure and increasing flying activities, and you don't have to invest everything into side activities, because the market would do that. That would attract private capital, and people would be making a smart investment. So really the cornerstone, I think, is the airport and the airlines operating the airport, to make sure that it is happening. So the airport is intact. It is designed to cater for airline operations, and airlines keep coming, and they keep investing as well. And I think that creates kind of the unity of the industry here, and then it spreads the benefits across other industries as well.
You know that the airport in Craiova is expanding. They have plans. They are hugely invested in developing. But I'm curious, what's more attractive for a company like WizzAir? The development in the building, in the airport itself, or the economical environment in that town? Is it enough that the management here is expanding the airport, or do you need also economic growth in the region for you to take into account developing?
Yeah. I think one would come with the other. I mean, I still think that the first action is investing into the airport, making it attractive for us.
A modern airport, first of all.
We need an airport, and it has to be a proper airport. And I think our activities will trigger other economic activities and will trigger economic growth overall. I don't think that's the other way around. Because if you look at many of the businesses, accessibility to infrastructure is a key decision-making point for any kind of investment, any kind of business. So you have to create that infrastructure. I think we are one of the infrastructure providers. We can create that infrastructure for the market. So you have the airport, which is the physical infrastructure, and that is the airline WizzAir that can create kind of the connectivity infrastructure for the region. But just looking through the window, I mean, one of the things I think the airport could think of is to see what other related activities they could stimulate in the airport environment. So, for example, airlines are in need of aircraft maintenance. We're going to be looking at hangar infrastructure for maintaining our aircraft. And we are a pan-European business, so we would be very open-minded to look around in our markets and to see what is available, how can we get access to hangar infrastructure. And we could look at Craiova. I mean, if, Craiova Airport comes up with a plan of investing into hangar, we would be very interested in considering that. Now, that would create another wave of activities we would bring to the party, because obviously we would be bringing a bunch of aircraft for aircraft maintenance. We would be creating another industry, like aircraft engineers and mechanics, to be employed here in the airport. That would stimulate some additional activities in the region.
Mm-hmm. I see. The prices of the tickets. It's been a quite difficult period after COVID. How did it affect the aviation, commercial aviation? How did it affect WizzAir?
Right. Well, I mean, clearly what you are seeing is that the world is entering into an inflationary environment. We're going to be seeing a lot of inflationary pressure on labor, on commodities, including oil, fuel, everything. So you will see a lot of inflation coming in our life, including the airline industry, but also in the normal life of anyone, individuals. The question is, what can we do as WizzAir to offset some of this pressure that would create more attractiveness to the market, and that could be a differentiating factor for us versus the rest of the industry. And I think we have an answer to it, because we are one of the very few airlines in the world that has been investing into technology throughout the pandemic. We have taken 45 brand new aircraft deliveries since the breakout of COVID-19. Today, we have a younger fleet of aircraft. We have a larger fleet of aircraft, so we are benefiting from the economy of scale. And we have a younger fleet of aircraft. So we have been investing, and I think that investment now is becoming critical in terms of returning the investment, because that creates a competitive advantage in the marketplace versus other airlines who have been relying on aging fleet, higher cost of operation as a result, versus our younger fleet and modernized fleet. And that's, I think, how we can offset some of the inflationary pressure, at least, but also that's how we can create a competitive advantage for the business versus the rest of the industry. So yes, I think you will see the industry under pressure to increase fares, and you will see WizzAir trying to hold fares, and maybe, if we get good commercial arrangements with airports or other parties, we might actually even be prepared to lower the fares versus what we applied before. So, but clearly, on a relative basis, we do better than the rest of the industry.
Absolutely. So you're saying that WizzAir can offset some difficulties, but in terms of prices, do you see the prices climbing a little in the near future?
I think it depends on the markets, to be honest. I mean, overall there is inflationary pressure. Overall there will be some creeping of inflation through fares as well. But again, I think our objective would be to try to keep fares as low as possible, certainly using it as a differentiating factor in our favor versus the rest of the industry, versus other airlines.
And the fares on the airports, do the airports management throughout Europe wants to increase the fares?
Depending on the airport, to be honest. I mean, if you are a kind of a monopoly airport in a capital city, quite likely you will be very tempted to push through the inflationary pressure. If you are a regional airport competing versus other regions or other airports, I think you will be taking efficiency measures before you want to raise charges, because you know that it's not going to attract airline capacity. But all in all, I think this whole inflation is an issue of every sector, of every industry. So it's not going to stop at the airlines, and it's not going to stop at the consumers. This is going to hit basically the whole value chain of economy. But how airlines and how airports and how some of the other parties will react to it will depend a lot on their ability to offset some of the inflationary pressure and their market position, whether they play the monopoly game or they play the competitive market game. We are an efficient airline, so we try to use efficiency to offset these macro issues and inflationary pressures, and also we don't play monopolies. I mean, we are a competing force. We compete. We are out in the marketplace, and we think that there is no better way of running the business than running it according to market, and that's what we're going to be doing. So we will always be in front of the curve to try to be a better airline, bringing lower fares to the market versus our competitors.
Mm-hmm. It is said that your main competition comes to Craiova in the next months. Mm-hmm. I'm not asking you if you're afraid of competition, because competition is what keeps you going on. But how can you, what can you say about the ways you should remain number one here in Craiova?
Look, I mean, first of all, competition is a good thing. I think competition is good for the consumer. It creates choices, but I think it's also good for us because it makes us more competitive. It keeps us on our toes, and I think it makes us a better business, a better company in the end. So competing is a good thing, and we have been competing with everyone in this industry for a long time. I mean, for years and years, we have been contested in every country. We have been. So it is not like the business what we have is a given. The business what we have is earned through competition, taking risks, and getting the right business model to the market. Any more competition, Craiova is most welcome. I think that's going to make us more focused on the market. We look at the opportunities even sharper than before, and we will do everything to stay competitive and to stay ahead of the curve, and to make sure that we continue to be the market leader in the market.
For our viewers to have a clear image, I would like you to answer again the question: do you think that in the near future the prices for the tickets are about to increase? Not you.
I think overall yes.
In general,
I think overall probably yes, but I don't think this is such a straight answer because I'm an economist, and kind of basic theory in economics is that price is the function of demand and supply and the balance of demand and supply. If the industry oversupplies capacity, then fares might not be increasing, but profitability of the industry is going to come down. If the industry becomes rational and we adjust capacity according to the new cost realities in the industry, then you rebalance supply and demand, and fares will go up. Okay, so my personal expectation is that short term, next few months, I don't think fares will increase. I think next few months, I think fares will hold up quite well, even may come down. Looking at it medium term, so let's say beyond summer, for the next year or so, likely the industry is going to raise fares. But as I said, our objective would be to hold fares as much as we can, and certainly to become more competitive versus our competitors, the rest of the market. So I don't think that short term you're going to be seeing a lot of fare increases. Mm-hmm. Medium term, in the industry, yes. In our case, probably staying even.
You said you were an economist. Mm-hmm. You also graduated law school. Mm-hmm. Do you fathom any means to cope with the situation all around the world, this inflation, the crisis after COVID, now the war in Ukraine? Do you think there is something magic that could be done to settle the things a little bit?
Look, I mean, I think if I look at this industry, I believe that the business model what we have is absolutely the right business model any way you look at it. We are an ultra low cost carrier, which really means that we try to deliver this business at lower cost than any of our competitors. So we want to be the undisputed cost leader in the industry. And in commodities, and short haul flying is increasingly becoming a commodity, lowest cost wins, lowest cost prevails. So this is what we have to do. And what does lowest cost really mean, if you really think about it? One, that you are a lower cost producer, i.e. you are a lower fare provider to the market. So you're going to be the cheapest relative to the rest of the market. Two, given the logic of the model what we apply, we are the most cash-rich, most liquid business at the same time. So when there is a shock affecting the industry, when there is a shock affecting our business, you know, it is like you are in the jungle with some other people and you meet a bear. I mean, you don't have to run faster than the bear, you just have to run faster than the other guys you are together with. So we're going to be running faster than the other guys we are together into this, because yes, it might be painful to us, but it's going to be a lot more painful to the other guy because he is higher cost, so it's going to be much more sensitive to him. And he's got less money, so he will be running out of money much earlier than I'm running out of money. If you look at the world today, there are only 4 airlines globally in the world that have been able to retain investment grade credit. We are one of them. All other airlines lost investment grade. I mean, most of the airlines have never been investment grade. But it's just showing that if you have the right business model and you have the right cost base, that creates the right level of liquidity, and that creates a lot more resilience than the rest of the industry.
So practically you're saying that the winner should take into account and leverage every advantage of a competition. A company shouldn't mind, especially the situation. It should concentrate on its competition. That's what you're saying. Absolutely. No matter what the crisis, no matter the situation throughout the world. Concentrate on your competition. That's what you're saying.
Absolutely, and I would take it even further. I would say that every crisis is an opportunity, and the bigger the crisis is, I think the bigger the opportunity will become for us. So if you look at COVID again, so look at the industry. The industry is crashed. The industry is expected to recover 90% of its capacity in summer, this summer, relative to 2019. We're going to be
the removal of the restrictions. That's
right,
why.
Right. We're going to be flying 140% of 2019 capacity levels. So just look at the gap. So we were like going one way, and all of a sudden we are jumping up 40%, and the industry is going down 10%. So this is the competitive advantage. This is what COVID created as an opportunity for us.
So we are coming back to what you said earlier. A crisis is an opportunity.
Absolutely.
But nevertheless, with the situation here near Romania, for instance, in Ukraine, does it affect the industry?
Short term, yes. Long term, no.
And the next question, it's not necessarily a question. Could you send something to Craiovians, a message? Should we expect next year new routes from Craiova?
Absolutely. I mean, you will see WizzAir already this year being far more exciting for the market than what it was before, and next year even more exciting. So we will be looking at bringing more capacity, launching new routes to the market. I would want to keep it as a secret what will come, but whenever we can reveal, of course, we will make an announcement. But absolutely, I think the market should be expecting, Craiova should be expecting from WizzAir to keep bringing innovation, new routes, new travel opportunities to them.
Good luck. Thanks.
Thank you.